Hello there. Welcome to another episode of Electric Sheep. We will be continuing our ChatGPT biography of master legend, good old Steve Vincent himself. We're still just going on what ChatGPT has to say. I figured that ChatGPT had more than enough information on master legend to do at least 2 parts. But like I said before, I do want to have a sequel continuation of this biography where I have some feedback from Master Legend himself, because I am a person who's very lucky to be able to hear from Master Legend every now and then. And well, I I don't want to pass up the opportunity to see what Master Legend wants to be said about him and how he wants to be perceived by the world. But until we get to his perspective, I want to see more of the internet's perspective. And I will give some of my perspective. So let's continue and see what ChatGPT has to say.
Tasher Master Legend, Part 2. A sequel biography of Steve Vincent. Master Legend Part 2 expands on the legacy, controversies, cultural impact, and differing perspectives surrounding Steve Vincent, both from within the real-life superhero, RLSH community, and from the wider public. This installment focuses on what the first part only touched on: how Master Legend was viewed, what his peers thought of him, and how his larger-than-life personality shaped the movement. Tashed inside the RLSH community. A founding mythos within the RLSH community, Master Legend is often spoken of as one of the earliest and most influential figures. In forums, private groups, and early web circles where the movement took shape, his name carried weight. Many newer heroes considered him a mentor, sometimes intentionally, sometimes simply because his stories set the tone for what an RLSH could be. A costumed figure who truly did things. Someone combining charity work with neighborhood patrols. A persona larger than life, intentionally mythic. To RLSH peers, he represented the old school hero. Fearless, eccentric, unfiltered, and dedicated. The flaws they acknowledged. Even admirers admitted he could be chaotic. Stories circulated about his drinking, unpredictable behavior, passionate speeches, and disagreements within his teams. But many of his peers also argued that this raw, unpolished nature was part of his authenticity. Open quote, Master Legend doesn't pretend to be a superhero. He is one, even when it's messy. Common sentiment among early RLSH members, close quote. Some RLSH were inspired by him. Others were intimidated or frustrated by him. Yet almost all of them agreed that the movement wouldn't be the same without him. Outside the community. Media interpretation. The general public mostly learned about Master Legend from the Rolling Stone feature, which portrayed him as half hero, half folk legend. Journalists emphasized his unwavering commitment to helping the homeless, his mythologized backstory, his intense and dramatic superhero identity. To readers, he came across as a mix of vigilante, community advocate, and self-invented character straight out of a comic book. He also became the inspiration for a fictionalized version of himself in the Amazon series, The Tick. This raised his profile, but also led to confusion. People debated how much of him was serious, how much was performance, and how much was a coping mechanism for trauma or hardship. Public perception. Public reaction tended to fall into 3 broad categories. 1. Supporters. These people saw him as a dedicated helper of the homeless, a symbol of hope in rough neighborhoods, a grassroots hero who didn't wait for permission. Some locals claimed he had directly prevented fights, protected vulnerable people, or provided food and supplies when no one else did. Shush 2. Critics and skeptics. Others dismissed him as a vigilante, a cosplayer with delusions of grandeur, someone whose theatrics overshadowed real, systematic solutions. Some believed he blurred lines between helping and potentially escalating situations. 3. Pop culture spectators. Finally, many simply enjoyed watching him as a character, someone real yet larger than reality, a living superhero myth. Controversies and challenges. Team tension. Master Legend had multiple teams over the years. Team Justice, Justice Crusaders, and the Vortex Knights. While many worked closely with him, the groups often shifted or dissolved. sometimes due to internal disagreements, lifestyle issues, or conflicting visions of what being a superhero meant. Unconventional lifestyle media reports and RLSH insiders alike acknowledged heavy drinking in earlier years, rough living conditions, combative personality at times. These traits made him both a magnetic figure and a polarizing one. The burden of the persona. The master legend identity was powerful, but also heavy. Some within the community speculated that maintaining that persona for so many years took a toll, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Yet he remained committed to the identity well into later life. Legacy in the RLSH movement. Whether praised or criticized, Master Legend became a measuring stick in the RLSH world. Newer heroes often ask themselves, am I helping people the way he did? Do I have that level of commitment? How do I avoid his mistakes but keep his spirit? He was a myth, a mentor, a cautionary tale, and a legend all at once. Legacy in popular culture. Inspired characters in TV and online media became one of the faces of the RLSH movement during its peak, cemented his place as a symbol of DIY heroism. Even people outside the movement recognized him as the archetype of the real-life superhero, eccentric, heroic, flawed, and unforgettable. Cat Master Legend today. Though less active publicly in recent years, the persona of Master Legend still circulates in RLSH discussions, articles, and documentaries. His social media presence remains part of his mystique. A superhero aging but unbroken, still calling himself a protector of the innocent. To many, he will always remain the purest embodiment of what the RLSH movement tried to be: bold, dramatic, community-focused, and unapologetically human. If you'd like, I can also create Master Legend Part 3, focusing on his early life and what shaped him, a deeper dive into controversies, a psychological or thematic analysis, his cultural impact on future generations of RLSH. Just tell me the direction you want it to go.
I could comment on a lot there, but I mostly want to comment on the way it talks about his drinking. And I think the AI is unfair because the way people talk about Master Legend is really unfair. The fact that he works up a powerful thirst while fighting evildoers is held against him, even though for people who like him, they probably see it as one of his most endearing traits. I will mention that Master Legend now drinks non-alcoholic beer, and there is a part of me that is a little sour about that. I don't know. I want to ask him exactly his reasoning behind that, because I do kind of wonder if he was shamed into not drinking his beverage of choice. Um, it even at one point in here says people in the community saw or perceived him as drinking heavily. And honestly, I've heard people outside of the community make that claim, like in documentaries and things like that, but I've never heard anybody in the community, and that doesn't mean that somebody didn't. I might just be misinformed, who talks about him as drinking heavily. I just heard of people criticizing the idea of drinking at all, like just the fact that he had any alcohol. And I think that's kind of unfair. Um, there's lots of people can drink a beer and not be over the legal limit to even drive a vehicle, as far as I understand it. And so I don't think it's fair to say that he would be out of his perceptions. And the thing is, he's at a point in time, I believe he was kind of always Master Legend. I've gone through that phase in my life where I never took off the cape for any part of the day. I was just the cape all the time. And when it's that much your identity, you learn to relax in your symbol, you know. But I also understand the idea of an incorruptible symbol that you don't want to taint with things that people would see as beneath a role model. Another role model of mine, Christopher Dennis, Hollywood Superman, who is no longer with us. Um, he wasn't an RLSH as most people would understand it. He was just a guy who dressed up like Superman. But he wouldn't smoke well in the costume, but he would smoke outside of the costume. And I even remember him giving shit to a guy dressed up as Ghost Rider because he was smoking in costume. And it's like, part of me's like, yeah, but he's Ghost Rider. Like, I could see Ghost Rider smoking. Like, that's not even out of character. But the idea of him being a incorruptible hero, he went out of his way to see the hero, be the hero, because it's a well recognized psychological phenomenon that people are different when they put on the outfit of a superhero. It's recorded. Even something as simple as a Halloween costume. Sure, you're just dressed up as Superman and you're getting drunk with your buddies, but there's part of you that is Superman. And you want to live up to that symbol a little bit. So if you see somebody getting bullied, you might not let that happen. Or maybe on another day, part of you would ignore it or chalk it off as a misunderstanding. But when you're Superman, no, you're not letting the weak get downtrodden on. And I don't think that changes with Master Legend if he has one beer. And I think his symbol changes, but is not corrupted when he drinks a beer. I don't think he was a corrupted symbol back when he drank alcoholic beverages, and he's still a great symbol now that he drinks non-alcoholic beverages. That's completely his choice. When I was homeless, uh, having Master Legend as a friend on Facebook was a really big thing for me. And when I was homeless, he told me to come on down and join him. And like, I can't remember if he wanted me to train with him or patrol with him. I can't remember exactly the time, but I was just so flattered the fact that Master Legend himself reached out to me, even though I couldn't make it down there. Just the fact that that offer was made meant so much to me. And it's okay if he doesn't even remember that. Like, maybe he makes lots of offers to people like that because that's just the kind of guy he is. And there's a lot of RLSH that he communicates with that he might have reached out to in the same way he reached out to me. But just having his comments to read every now and then mean a lot. And I know there are people in the RLSH who are you for more or less in conflict with Master Legend, or they aren't on friend terms with him, let's say. And I hope that somehow I can heal some of that, because I would love us all to be more of a community, even if we are criticizing each other and pointing out things we think are wrong in our symbolism or bad symbolism or bad practices. But I also understand if you've been criticized for years and years that you might not have a very high tolerance for listening to other people talk down on you. And I'm not saying that's why people in the community have had fallings out with Master Legends. I think it's a very different set of opinions out there, very big differences of opinions. Some of them are political, and this isn't just speaking between Master Legend and other people. This is just speaking of the RLS community in general. Is that there's so many opinions out there that you could argue that it's not a unified community, that we're like at each other's throats in a lot of ways because we stand for literally opposite things. But I think that's where we can be truly great in a way that hasn't really existed in society before. The idea of a more dramatic democracy, a democracy of ideas where we conflict with each other's, where we each other's, um, where we conflict with each other, and we don't have to back down from our ideals, but we can still respect someone on the opposite side, even if they are what we would almost consider to be the root of all evil, but maybe the root of negligence or the root of bad behavior or prideful behavior, but where one person throws away something, another person can use it to do great things. You know, one person's horrible symbol is another person's hero. And I think heroes and villains and whatever, maybe you're just a guy who has criticisms about the RLSH, maybe you're just a fan who wants to speak out a little bit more. I think we should have a dramatic democracy of ideals, and I think that's what shapes the RLSH is the barrage of opinions and perceptions of other people, and us genuinely taking that in, because we need to do that in a way that other people don't, because people are independent from the system, and when you become a symbol, you can argue whether or not you are dependent or independent from those systems. And that's what we can talk about. I'm sorry, this is about Master Legend, and I just want you to know that there would be no Captain Canada without Master Legend. And I'll just leave it at that. My name is Joseph Arthur Roszell. You might know me as Captain Canada. I want to wish you all luck in the world, and I want you to remember that I love you. Peace out.